We are in the green room, so we're backstage for the first
Mhm.
minute. So,
Okay.
um, how you doing? You feeling good? You nervous?
I'm feeling good, a little nervous.
Well, no need to be.
Hopefully hopefully nothing pops up where I have to put out a fire during this session.
I hope not.
So I'll
I
do a
hope
little
not.
prayer.
All right. So we send a quick prayer before we jump on. Um, but I'm happy that you're here. I hope all is well. Hope you and your family have survived. Well, it's still actually going on, but this pandemic
Yeah.
and staying safe. So, uh, everybody safe on your end.
Everybody's doing well. Thank you, and thank you for having me today.
You are welcome. You are welcome. So we're gonna go ahead and probably get this party started.
Okay.
Remove my chair. Walk up. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Here we go. Three, two, and one. What's going on, everybody? This is Prince Daniels Jr., and welcome to Game Beyond the Game presents Talk That Talk, where we inspire athletes and everyone else with their stories and how they transition out of their game into real life. So today we got an incredible guest, and before I announce her, I just want to let you know she has a mask on, but if she took her mask off, you guys would be like, "Yo, why don't you keep your mask off?" But she's in a place where she's not able to, so we're gonna make sure that we get her on for another interview whenever she's in one of her lavishest homes that she is presenting to the world. But without further ado, I want to welcome Breanna Barksdale. Breanna, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm going to introduce you to everyone real quick. Look, Brianna
Okay.
is a former student athlete who played volleyball at Auburn University with an illustrious career. She had some awards to go with that illustrious career. In 2016, she was Auburn Invitational All Tournament Team. In 2015 and uh, in 2015 and 2014, she was a War Eagle Invitational All Tournament Team. She had SEC Academic Honor Roll. Not only was she athletic, but she was smart as well, y'all. In her
Mhm.
career, she finished 10th in Auburn career records listed with a .85 block set average. Her 292 total blocks ranked eighth in Auburn history, while her 252 block assists is 10th in Auburn history. She earned her BSBA degree with a major in marketing from Harbert College of Business at University of Auburn, or is it Auburn University? Well, it
Auburn
doesn't matter.
University.
Auburn University. Okay, while competing as a collegiate athlete on the volleyball team. Now she has transitioned into real estate. And as a former athlete, Brianna is consistently in the gym, working on her health, her mental, her physical, and her emotional. She shares her love for health and fitness while serving as a professional coach, inspiring men and women to live a healthy and active lifestyle. When Brianna is not at work or in the gym, she is pursuing her MBA at UCLA Anderson to fulfill her purpose of giving back to the community. She is dedicated to continuing the legacy of her late grandfather, UCLA alum, All American, and Hall of Fame enshrined, Don Barksdale, through nonprofit high school sport assistant programs. Brianna lives by his famous words: give everything your best effort and believe in yourself. Without further ado, everybody clap your hands and stump your feet and give it up for Brianna Barksdale. Bree, how you doing?
Good, thank you. That was a great introduction. As you see, I'm in my office right now and people walk in and out. So hopefully it's not too distracting. But thank
So
you so much for the introduction.
you're welcome. You're welcome. We're happy to have you. So I want to jump right into it and just talk about you.
Okay,
Tell us where you're from, who you are, and how you started off. And you have a big family, so like
I
just take us back
do.
to uh, just before you went to college, and what was high school life like for you and growing up?
Okay. So I'm from San Diego, California, uh, born and raised here, and I went to Eastlake High School. And I grew up in, Eastlake area, if anybody's familiar with that area. And growing up, I was just a cheerleader. And not discrediting any cheerleaders or anything, but I was never into like former sports like basketball, volleyball, football, or anything like that. So I was a cheerleader from the age of 5 to my sophomore year of high school. And, I was getting into things that I probably shouldn't have, not getting the best grades. And my dad, came up to me and was like, "You need to do something else. You need to change." So he encouraged me to join a sports team, and he was throwing out all the options because I was in high school. I was already 6 foot tall, and
Wow.
yeah, and so he was like, "Hey, why don't you join basketball or volleyball? Explore those options." And I instantly knew, like, the cheerleader in me, I was like, I cannot be that aggressive. I can't do basketball. So I started playing volleyball, and I wasn't the best at it. I'm
Mm.
going to be 100% honest. It did not come that natural to me.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I knew I had to put in the extra reps and I had to put in the extra hours to catch up with all the girls that have already been playing varsity, have been playing club, at my age. And I put in those hours and I was able to get a scholarship to, at first it was Houston, University of Houston. And my coach actually moved over to Cincinnati, which then I followed her over to Cincinnati, and then eventually transferred over to Auburn. So I have a long story. I don't know if you want to
Okay.
get into it, but
Yeah, we're gonna jump right into that because that you just named three different schools in one
yes,
sentence. So let's go back. So you were planning on going to Houston, but you did not go to Houston. You ended up going to Cincinnati, or did you go to Houston
yes.
as well?
No, so I was verbally committed to University of Houston, and weeks later, my coach was like, "Hey, I got a job opportunity at University of Cincinnati. Are
Mhm.
you willing to move with me?" And at the time, that was my only offer. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? The coach, I don't know if the coach at Houston, the new one, is going to like me. So I made that jump with her over to
Mm,
Cincinnati.
nice. And then from Cincinnati, you were at Cincinnati, and then your coach decided to leave from Cincinnati and go to Auburn. So how, how does that happen?
So she was at Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and I actually played there for a year and decided that I wanted to transfer. So she's still there now, but I decided to do the move.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. I love that. I love that. So,
yeah.
um, what was it that? So you're going from here to here, and you follow
Mhm.
your coach from there to here.
Yes.
And the one thing that we speak about on this podcast is transition and your ability to transition. Was those
Mhm.
transitional moments in your life, was it difficult for you, or was it just a decision that you just needed to make and you just went forward with it?
It is, they are complex decisions, especially when I was so young. At the time when I committed, I was 17, and, I'm from San Diego, and moving to Houston was like a big deal to me. And my parents guided me through the whole way and, encouraged me and said, "You're going to be okay. You're going to be a big girl." And so that's why I decided, to take that leap of faith. And also with moving to Cincinnati, because I knew, like, hey, I have to either move with her or just pray that the coach at Houston likes me. So yeah, so I decided to move to Cincinnati, and then transferring from Cincinnati was also a really big deal for me because I did really well at Cincinnati. I had amazing stats, and you know, it gets to the point where you're like, "Oh, well, what do I wanna do? What's next for me?" And I
Right.
felt like, I wasn't in an opportunity where I could continue to grow, and that's why I decided to transfer. And, during the transfer process, or before then, my parents were like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Because when I first was in high school, I only had one offer.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, well, how is this transition process or the transfer process going to work? And are you going to have any, schools that are actually interested in you? And one day I just was like, I got to do it. I have to do it for myself. And I took the leap of faith and I ended up with over 11 schools looking at me. And that was just within the first week or so.
Wow.
Yeah. So
There you
glad I took
go.
that leap of faith.
Right. So did it come easy to you, or was like volleyball? Did volleyball come easy to you? Was it something? I know you said you wasn't as talented, but
Yeah.
you have athleticism in your family, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Your
Yes. Which
your grandfather, your dad. So you come from a lineage of
yes.
athletes. So just a little work and athleticism and genes just took over.
Yes. And I would say I put so many hours after practices to just get extra reps with other coaches and things like that. And like I said, I was never in any volleyball clubs until
Hmm.
my junior year. And that's where I saw the potential that I had to go play collegiately, was having that next level of coaching.
Yeah.
My club coach, his name was Ojan, and he actually played in the Olympics, and he was just an amazing coach overall. So I have to give a lot of credit to him too, because he definitely put me in the right direction and
Nice.
put me in that spotlight to be successful.
Nice. So now, speaking of giving credit, now I know from me knowing you personally, I know that you have a big family, right? You grew up in a
Hmm.
really big family,
Yes.
um, and you guys are from San Diego, so you end up going to school in Auburn and you
Hmm.
become a standout athlete. Were
Yes.
your parents always at your games, or what?
No.
What? No. So explain
No.
to me, all right?
Yeah. So, being from San Diego, and going over to Cincinnati and Auburn,
Hmm.
my parents can't fly every weekend to go see my games. And,
Hmm.
um, you know, it's always like, it was a little unsettling at first, knowing that
Hmm.
I can't just look in the stands and look for my family, for support, or at the beginning of games just to see like a familiar face.
Yeah.
Um, but, as time went on, I mean, I always knew that I had their support and love, and, the fans are always amazing. So it's like
Mm.
it kind of just, you overlook it and you don't
Yeah.
really look at the stands or the fans anymore. It's just like you're in the zone. So, after that first couple of games, it became a lot easier.
So your teammates became your family members, basically.
Yes. Yes, for
Mm,
sure.
nice, nice. What was your
Mhm.
relationship with your coach like?
My relationship with my coach, it's so funny because at coach at Auburn, Rick Nold, he actually has the same birthday as me. So we are like
Wow.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had the same birthday, we had the same things motivated us, and um we were very, I would say, driven to be successful.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, it was a great relationship. I had amazing coaches at all the schools I've been to. I'm like all the schools, but only two schools. But at every school I've been to, I've been very blessed with amazing coaches.
Nice, nice, nice,
Yes.
nice. See, I like that, and I like that you give your coaches recognition and credit for them having an impact in your life.
Yes.
I know my coaches; they would always uh, be like a pivotal person in my life as well.
Mhm.
And whenever I needed them, I can always go to them and talk to them. They were my teachers, they were my
Yeah.
mentors as well. So that's super
Mhm.
awesome. Look,
Yeah.
I I want to give the audience like our background history, how we met, and just
Okay.
talk about uh, like where you are, because one of the things that really intrigued me about your energy was the fact that you were open to mindfulness and meditation, and wanting to get more into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we met at Reggie Bush's what was it?
Charity golf tournament.
Charity golf tournament. So not,
Yes,
but yeah, not at the golf tournament. We actually met at
the gala.
the the gala. Exactly. So we met at the
Yes.
gala, and you just had this really positive energy, and I came up and I spoke. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think I mentioned something about meditation, and we exchanged information. Then I told you about an event
Mhm.
that I was having. Had the event, and you showed up, and I didn't think he's gonna show up, but you showed up, and I was just like, "Yo, Bree, what's going on?" And I'm so
Mhm.
happy that you showed up because you showed up with last name Thomas. I forget her first name.
Sydney.
Sydney Thomas, Frank Thomas'
Yes.
daughter, and such a beautiful moment. And then afterwards, your mom called me. She texted me out of the blue. I was just like, "Who is this?" And so she hit me up, and she said, "I just want to tell you thank you so much for the impact that you had on my daughter." She came back telling me about meditation, and I'm going to do it, and this is what she sees her life, and this is how she envisions herself. So thank you so much
Mhm.
for creating that spark within her life. And that's
Yeah.
when someone's mother reaches out to you, that's when I knew that I made an impact. So I was just like, oh, okay. And I also knew that you had a big family that was very
Yeah.
supportive,
Mhm.
whether they're in person or not. They can be there spiritually, but they really have a huge impact in it. So when I saw that, I saw, wow, your mother is always there to support you, no matter what.
Yes. Yes, she is. She's my biggest fan.
That's that's awesome. I mean, that's what you want, right?
Mhm.
Nice. That's good. That's good. So, tell me a bit about your mom and your father and your family and how that has helped with your transition because you stopped playing at Auburn on your last year was 2016, 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
2017.
2017. Okay, so that was your
Mhm.
last year. So after that, what was life like?
It was definitely life changing or, monumental. You go from being a collegiate athlete to trying to figure yourself out. And a lot of people don't tell you about that. It's kind of
Mm,
like, okay, you go and you go play and you do your job and you put your best foot out there, but um, the conversation never came up as, what do you want to do after college? And
yeah.
um, you know, it, I hear it a lot too, and it happened with me
Yeah.
where you kind of like lose yourself. You lose your sense of self and,
Mm,
what you actually intend to be and what your goals are because
wow.
all you think about is volleyball nonstop, 24/7. It's like, how do I get to the tournament? How do I make it to the championship?
Right. Right.
And that
Right.
was like your main focus in school. And um, and then it comes to an abrupt stop,
Mm.
and it's definitely life changing for sure, mentally and physically too.
So, what about spiritually? Because when we connected and you um, you were already it seems like you were already on this journey or this path, the spiritual path, and
Hmm.
it just kind of re-sparked that light within you. Because after you left the event, you were like, okay, I feel filled. I feel that I
Hmm.
just ignited something within me.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, so I actually practice meditation and like visualization in college. So my coach Rick Nold, before every game, he would have us, play a certain song, and we would all sit in our locker room, and we would close our eyes, we would turn off the lights, and we would visualize ourselves playing at our highest like potential and our highest ability, visualizing ourselves winning and, blocking and getting amazing points and making great plays. And I think that's where it started. And then making the transition after college was kind of like seamless, but when you're going from meditating and visualizing before games, it's like, you don't really know anything else besides that. So it's like, oh, where does that fit in my life? And I got into meditation and yoga and things like that. I actually have my yoga certification, so I can actually teach yoga. But I was just yearning for something more than what I was doing, and I had always gone back to meditation, especially when times were tough. I would spend a lot of time with myself and visualizing what I want for myself and what I want for my life and meditating on it. And that's where I'm at peace, is when I'm by myself meditating.
That's when you
So,
met peace. Ooh, I
yes,
love it.
yes.
I love that comment. That's when I met peace. Man, that's beautiful. Such a
Mhm,
beautiful thing because not everybody has the opportunity to meet peace.
mhm,
So that's a really profound statement and very
yep,
beautiful. So it goes with what you're doing right now, inspiring people to be the best versions of themselves. And
mhm.
so I love that.
Thank
So
you.
what was some of the best advice that you were given, and what was some of the worst advice that you were given in college?
As far as sports or just in
Yeah, as
general?
far as sports, yeah, as far as sports and like life information.
I would say the best advice. That's a tough one because I've given people have given me a lot of advice. Um,
Which one is the best one that you
mm,
still use like to this day? I know you probably use all of them, but which one
yeah.
do you use more than the other?
You know, I forgot who told me it, but it was, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it.
Oh,
And yeah, so I definitely have had, times in my life where I've gone through hardships and I realize, time is going to pass and it's going to pass anyways, whether I like it or not. And the only thing that matters is, from a year from now, do I want to look back and think about all of the hard times, or do I want to, look at things in a light where, okay, I was able to get through this hardship and this is how I got through it. And, being at peace with my life and the things that I've been through, because I know, like I said, like time passes and it's going to pass anyways. So might as well let the hard times roll off of you.
nice, nice. I love it. So if you had to speak to your younger self, what advice would you give your younger self when you were going through all of your transitions, when from choosing the college to going to a different college to graduating from college and living a civilian life? What would you tell yourself through all those transitions?
I would tell myself, to really focus in on what truly matters to me and not necessarily what matters to the next person or who you want to help, or, your parents, or, other people that may influence you. It's all about, not to make it like in a bad way, but your life is what you make it. And ultimately, you have to be here to serve yourself, and you have to know how to serve yourself in a way that's healthy and that's going to help you feel fulfilled and fill your potential. Because the last thing you want to do is think, oh, I should have done this, or, you have regrets because you didn't follow your intuition and you didn't follow your heart.
Nice answer. So, if you had an opportunity to speak to the young females and empower them,
Mhm.
I want you to look into the camera and I want to know what advice would you give to them?
Mm.
This is that moment
I,
where you can
I,
empower.
yeah, I would say stay true to yourself, know yourself, spend time with yourself. and really love yourself because, in the end it's going to be you, and you have to do what you ultimately want to do in life and feel fulfilled and love yourself.
I love it. I love it. How much do you love yourself?
A lot. More than this room behind me.
Nice. So I know now you're in school. You're getting your
Mhm.
MBA, pursuing your MBA,
Yeah.
but you also have something that you like as a hobby, right?
Mhm.
You have a hobby uh, in modeling, right? Are you your own model, or do you work for companies? Or do companies, hire you, look to hire you?
It's half and half. I
Half
mean,
of
yeah, so I don't really actively search for it.
Mhm.
But it kind of, if the opportunity presents itself, or, if I'm helping out a friend, I'm more than willing to help them.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so I kind of do it for my own self, and it's funny because people are like, "You don't seem as what you are on social media," and it's funny that people say that because I feel like, yeah, there is this persona of myself, but it's only what I present to them, and I think if they genuinely wanted to know who I am as a person, they could always reach out to me.
Go ahead, Bree. Let them know. You can always reach
Uh,
out to me if you want to know the real Bree. I love it.
exactly.
I love it. So you've accomplished so much, and every time I see your action pictures from Auburn, it's you like yelling like, yeah.
Yes.
You got that warrior spirit inside you. Do you
Yes.
still get a chance to exercise that? Because obviously that just kind of made you excited. You were like, yes. You
Yes.
still get an opportunity to exercise that.
Well, I don't play too often here, and I'll play beach volleyball, but, I do exercise and work out almost 6 days a week. I say almost because, there's days where you gotta listen to your body.
Right.
But I do still, I feel like I work out like I'm a professional athlete at this point still. So I guess I would say that, yeah, I do have the opportunity to, relinquish that side of me here and there.
Mhm.
But it's not the same, and, there's times where I tell my sister, like, "Take advantage of the time that you have because it goes by so quick, and you'll never have the opportunity ever again."
Mm, such great advice from my older sister to tell your younger sister.
Mhm.
Did you ever think about going pro?
I did, however, I had when you jump a lot, your knees aren't really the same.
Right.
So, yeah, so I was exploring the option. I was never super serious about it, but I was exploring the option, and, um, when it came time to graduate, I wanted to be in philanthropy, so I wanted to start my master's right away, and I actually came back to San Diego after my last year, and I did an internship with a mortgage company, and I was like, "Oh, I decided I didn't wanna go back to school or pursue volleyball." So, San
Just
Diego
like
will do
that.
that to you.
Man, San Diego will. San Diego is such a beautiful place. Like when I
Yes.
found San Diego, I was like, is this real? Is this
Mhm.
real? I don't want to leave from paradise in America. And you grew up here. So it's
Yeah.
like, what? I didn't grow up in San Diego. It was just something that I just happened to find. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. The
Mhm.
weather is just beautiful every day. So I can get used to this.
Mhm.
So I know what you mean.
Yes.
It can persuade any person decision. Like this is nice, and I want to live like this every day. So
Exactly.
can you tell me a story where you were in the zone or you were inspired and it seems like you were playing at your peak performance and you had the right mindset, like nothing could stop you?
Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So, uh, sorry, because in life, we were just talking about it today at work, where you go through like you're in your flow, and it happens when you're outside of sports too. So that's why I asked that question. But I remember we were
Oh,
playing
I see. I didn't
Kentucky.
hear the. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question because I guess the sound had went out for a half a second. So you asked a question.
Oh, no problem. Oh,
Okay.
like in volleyball or in like a regular day life.
Oh, both.
But as far as volleyball,
Yeah.
yeah, so for volleyball, I would say there was a match that we played against Kentucky, and I remember we were so excited to play, and we do our meditation and our visualization before every game. So, I was already in the zone and I was ready to go. Kentucky's always an amazing team to play against. They actually won the championship this year, I believe. So that just goes to show they're always amazing. But you're playing high quality teams every night. But for some reason, that night was like no other. And I think it was because I just knew the level I had to play at, and prior to the game, I made sure that I visualized myself playing at the highest point, and if I ever thought I was going to make a mistake, I would go back and redo the play over again in my head and actually see myself doing well, and that's where I found myself actually performing the best.
Ooh, see, that's the key. You just gave the key,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I think the internet went out, but I heard it. I heard it when you said the one thing that you said because that's something that I mentioned in my book about when you go through your visualization exercises. In my book, Mindfulness for the Ultimate Athlete, I said if you see yourself mess up, you should actually go through the whole process again through your head
Yes.
until you see
Yes.
yourself succeed. And
Yes.
that is key right there. You just
Manifestation.
dropped manifestation, you say? You
Manifestation, yeah.
Manifestation, visualization, you just said it, just
Mhm.
hit the nail on the head. Look, for you
Yes.
guys that's listening, look, she just dropped a bar, dropped a gem, dropped a jewel, dropped everything. So if you're trying to get into some type of visualization, meditation, manifestation, always remember, visualize yourself at playing at the highest, and make sure that if you make a mistake in your mind, you need to revisit and revisualize every single thing over and over again
Ye
until you see yourself perform it in the most ultimate way. Man, that is what I'm talking about. Now, all right, real quick, give me something that you felt you were in the flow or in the zone outside of sports.
I would say just at work, when and I feel like when you're in the flow, you're super confident, you wanna get things done, you wanna feel accomplished, and, at work, I feel like when I'm in the flow, it's like when I'm by myself and it's silent and I can, focus on what I need to focus on, without any distractions. And I feel like that goes back to, meditating too, because you kind of like not block out everything, but it's like you're going to a different place where, you're not looking at other things or listening to other things. It kind of just goes in and out, I guess, you know?
Right, 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 right.
So, yeah.
I like that. I like that. All right. So you're considered uh, from the internet. You're considered like a supermodel. You're considered uh,
A lot of
bigger than life.
things.
Yeah, a lot of things. You're a superstar. And we're not going to get into all of that at all. But
Okay.
but what I do want to ask you is, where are you in life in terms of relationships, and what do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And also, what do you
Mhm.
want your legacy to look like?
Yeah. So, what I want my life to look like in 5 years is, um, I have always had this dream to start a nonprofit called Save High School Sports Foundation, which I've already started the process, and I'm more in the ideation stage. That's why I had this motivation to go back to school. Um, is to learn how to, start a business and create a business plan. So I see myself creating a multi-sport complex and having a turf field and courts and a workout station, a nutrition station, study rooms, things like that to support these athletes that right now be may not feel supported, especially in the times of COVID where they're making sport cuts and things like that. And, I know how much sports basically changed my life, and I know what it can do for other people. So always empowering others to, you know, to go in their path and, you know, also perfect their craft, whether it's football, whether it's volleyball, whether it's, if they're more into academics, like following their path, basketball, anything. Yeah. So I'm here. I want to support kids. And I feel like that's really what is going to fulfill my purpose in life is giving back to the community and, others in sports.
That is so awesome. You know, I'm just going to say this. Most people will probably say, I want a family and I want this. And you're saying that I want to give back to the community. I want to give back to the youth. I think that's such a beautiful thing. That's such a selfless act.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what do you want your legacy to look like?
My legacy, I would say it's along the lines of the nonprofit and serving others and just being somebody of influence and somebody that's there to guide others, because I know a lot of times many people can get lost, especially in the social media and what other people say or maybe what their parents are influencing them to do. And I really want to let people know that you have to know yourself and you have to love yourself and you have to serve yourself. You have to understand, like, you're here to fulfill your own potential, not somebody else's, because that's not going to make you happy.
There you go,
Yes.
Bree. It's coming out, right? I feel it.
Yes.
Nice. So how do you not get lost in the social media world?
You definitely have to put up boundaries within yourself and understand, like, okay, this is something in my life that's influencing me in a bad way and in an unhealthy way. And figuring out what works for you. If you have to put time constraints on your apps, or if you have to, take a break from social media, delete the app, or, things like that, whatever. I could give all advice that I can, but, to each its own, whatever. If you feel like it's negatively impacting you, you have to make the change where you see fit, because it's not the same for everybody. But again, you can also use social media. That's why I have such a big audience, is because I was playing at Auburn and I was using my platform to inspire others. Hey, here is my story when I played volleyball. So you have to use it for your own good as well, because you have the opportunity with this platform to serve others and help guide others and inspire others. And a lot of people don't see it that way either. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Bree. I love it.
Yeah.
That was a great answer. Great answer. We had some comments from the audience, and they said, "Love yourself, know yourself, and serve yourself." Love that.
Yes.
Gave you a
Yes,
pound on
Jen.
top of that.
Woo!
Bam. Look, you'll be inspiring everyone. This is what this show is intended to do,
Oh,
to inspire
yes.
everyone through their transitions, because we're either transitioning into the game or transitioning out of the game. And
Mhm.
you really shed some light on everyone. And someone made a comment: love yourself, know yourself, and serve yourself. Love that. That is what I'm talking about. Look,
Yes.
I want everybody to be inspired by this. I know your mask is on, but we're gonna have to have you on the show again, so that way you don't have to have your mask on and you can be free and you can
Yes.
talk to people, and so they can see all of Bree, and they can
Yes.
get the feeling, as well as a visual. But I
For
just want to
sure.
tell you thank you so much for your energy and your time.
Of
I know I've
course.
been hounding you and then for a long time, just like, hey, Bree, I got to get you on my show. But thank you so much for getting on my show and just being present, showing up. And I just want to say to you, are there any final words and where can people find you?
Any final words? Well, I would say thank you so much for allowing me to be here and share my story and, also continue to fulfill my purpose of inspiring others and help guide others because um it can be difficult when I'm stuck in the office during work hours. So finding the time to do this and, having the opportunity I'm so grateful for because haven't had an opportunity like this in a while. So thank you so much. And everybody can find me out in San Diego. You can find me on social media. It's my first and my last name for pretty much everything that I have. And feel free to reach out to me. I don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of me. I may be 6 foot, but it's okay. I'm super sweet. I promise.
Look, you're intimidating to a lot of people,
Yes, I
Uh,
noticed that.
Yeah. Well, when someone comes up to you and they look down upon you like, yes, because you have so much height, you look down at people like, yes, what did you say to me?
Yeah,
Most people
and
can be intimidated by that, but hey,
yeah, they
that's just,
do, especially when I wear high heels. So
you got to find you somebody that's not intimidated by that. People, I mean,
yeah,
look, don't be intimidated by anybody. Just always,
yeah,
you know, um, the intimidation creates confidence if you learn how to face it. Right.
exactly.
So, yeah, always look to face your intimidation, and so that way that you can build the confidence and be able to speak to people because that's what it's about. Look, if I didn't have the confidence,
Yes,
we wouldn't be speaking right now. So when I saw you, I was just like, hey, what up, Bree? How you doing? So beautiful, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being
yes,
incredible.
thank you.
Uh, you're welcome. That's the end of this show, but I want to tell our audience, please like and subscribe at the Prince Daniels Jr. on YouTube. Make sure that if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody. We're going to be back here next Tuesday, same bad time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we had an incredible guest. Look, tell everybody to go and watch this episode. It's very inspirational, and she is very incredible. Go and follow her on social media as well. Other than that, guys, we'll see you next time, next Tuesday. Peace.